How's it going, YouTube? Back again. I know it's been a while since I did a video about talking, but I would like to address a lot of questions because I know you guys have millions for me, and I do appreciate the support over the years. Just haven't had the time to do a video, so pretty much back at it now. But today I bring you pretty much informational view or an informational video about the post swap of this, because there is a lot of questions that I do feel like I need to address with you guys. The first one would definitely be midsole paint. A lot of people asking me what is the mixture, why did you go with an off-white. I'll address that one by one. Okay, so the first one is, in my opinion, with a lot of people want to go, is like, why did I go with an off-white? And the big thing about that is I do want to go for the vintage look, and I realized that over time, you know, I've been doing a lot of midsole swaps for people and painting them out with the original color that came out dead stock. And the problem with that is that the back panel is off-white and your midsole paint is white. It kind of looks off in a more aesthetic way. So that's the only reason why I decided to go with off-white. I decided to match the midsole to the back panel. And people ask me the mixture. What I would say is, since we do all our paints using laser match form, it gives me percentage rather than, you know, like a mixture of ounces or yeah, pretty much ounces. If it does that kind of mixture, I don't have that information for you guys. I wish I did, but the computer would necessarily say there would be a 20% yellow hue for pure off-white, and that kind of gives you this kind of oxidation deviation right here. But when it comes down to doing it with Angelus paint and mixing it with white and yellow, I'm not 100% sure what the mixture is. But worst case scenario, what you guys should do is just pretty much do, you know, trial and error. Pretty much match it. You mix, you match, you mix, you match. That's what I feel a lot of people are doing, and I have a lot of I got a lot of close friends that actually do professional restorations, and they do a great job by just pretty much doing hand mixtures. Another thing that was a big deal about that I want to address with you guys is pretty much what kind of collateral damages should you be expecting with a sole swap pair. With this pair, there is not a lot, but there is a lot of things that you need to watch for when you are wearing it. One thing is definitely how you wear it and what are your insets that you have. Insets meaning, I would say, your wearable shoe trees. Big must when it comes to pairs like this. Why? Because the leather, when it's conditioned, it stretches out, it gets a little more, you know, flexible. So having that wearable shoe tree kind of helps out with the creases, with crackings and all that. What I did notice about the 1988 leather is that the quality and durability of this pair is just kind of hands down mind-blowing. It's very comparable to the Jordan 1s. The 85 ones have one of the most amazing leather. I heard from a couple people that 87, 86 Jordan 2s have exquisite leather since they're made in Italy, but I don't have first-hand account of that, so I really can't give that to you guys. But I would say that the leather on the 88 3s is very comparable to the 85 1s. Oh, another thing, when you are wearing this, the big thing that you need to watch about is definitely straightening that panel right here. This is pretty much what gives off the, you know, most iconic look of the 1988 Jordan 3s, but this is what you need to preserve when you're wearing. Big thing to account for that is that when you are wearing this, be mindful of how you move your ankles around the sock liner. What I've seen, well, what a lot of people I've seen, not including me, but what we see in general, is that 88 3s have crumbled back panels. One, it's either if they're dead stock, they just crumble due to oxidation. And I would say two would be people wearing them over time and eventually straining the back panel to the point where it cracks or it rips. You would know the one thing to watch out for if it's pure oxidation. Pure oxidation means that it's been in storage, not in a climate controlled area or a place that has a lot of humidity, where the back panel has been sitting there in one place. What you call a simultaneous oxidation is that cracking will start beginning from a really small fault line and just disintegrate in and out. So, well, with the 1988 threes is that the Nike panel and the AIR on the back are completely separate tabs. So it's not part of the full mold. Those are actually pieces. So you can see closely, it's been glued in and it's not part of the full mold. The full mold I would say happen after 1994 earlier, but the 88s would have that specific inset groove. So it's definitely separate off the midsole panel. Another thing that I've seen also is what you call when it's oxidized and people have been wearing it, once there's a crack and they continue to wear it, it will straighten it out where this whole upper pull tab just rips apart. And why that happens is when people are wearing it and they have their ankles definitely vibrating it off, chipping it off, it pretty much just falls apart. So that's a big cause of it. So that's what you should watch out when you're definitely having, midsole swap pairs of 1988s. Another thing to watch about is separation. One thing I need to give you guys an account to is a lot of people saying, there is some separation after I had my pair midsole swap. The big thing about that is that why it separates is not because of the gluing. Well, part of that, of course, is the gluing. No matter how well the restorer preps for gluing, sanding down the layer that meets the midsole and the uppers. If you sand down that layer and you take it completely and compact that leather, then it should not. But the thing about what gives out is that the uppers will strain out. And what happens with that is the first layer of the leather will pull off from the midsole due to the fact that the glue is holding it in. So that's one thing you'll see. Apparently this one is already suffering minor ones since I have been wearing the hell out of it. So that's what I feel that is happening on this side, is that the uppers, it's pulling off from the layer. So that's what you need to watch about. Easy fixes, E6000, get a toothpick and just rub it in there and then pretty much just post it in. That's one of the big fixes that I usually do for when I wear my pairs. And another thing that I would like to tell you guys is the bottom sole. People always ask me when I do midsole swaps, like, did you use the original bottom sole? I always highly believe in OG bottom soles to keep them as part of the restore as much as possible and keep the shoe as original as you can. Of course, that's going to be one of the hardest parts. This one, we did decide to go with original midsole due to the fact that when I got this pair, the uppers was still connected to the bottoms and the toe box stitching. So that I decided not to remove, which a very, very big deal when you guys are prepping for midsole swaps, when you guys are sending that to people, to whatever restoration company you give your midsoles, your pair sleeve to get midsole swap. Please do not take off the original stitching. One part, what it does, it destroys the integrity of the uppers. When you try to do that, it's just much harder. Well, I would say it's always a challenge for Restore, which is a good thing. But why you need to stop doing that is due to the fact that if you do remove that stitching, you strain off the fitment. And when you strain off the fitment, it's harder to fit the shoe on the right point, where the back panel, the back side of the shoe and the front side of the shoe would have a perfect fitment with the midsole. So that's the biggest problem there, and it kind of helps speed up the restoration process as well. So please, when you guys are prepping for that, do not remove the toe box stitching. Another question, types of donors. What are the donors for threes? There's, I would say, more than a dozen different donors that we can get. Off the top of my head right now, Flight 45s, Spizikes, any other Jordan Retro 3s. That's only in the top of my head. If you guys really want to know full ones, we do have a list. It's called the Spot on Restoration D list. It's on our Facebook under documentation. There's a full list of Jordan donors from 3s all the way to 6s that we've worked on, and that's what we have been receiving from our customers, and that's what worked. I know it's not updated yet, but that's pretty much, I would say, the general list that we have. So you can see a little difference of shaving down there. That's due to the fact that I had to sand it down to account for that spacing that it's lacking. So yeah, that's a big thing you need to account for, is also the donors. So when you guys are sending in your donors, I would like to let you guys know and understand that right now, is that just because the donor is the same size, it is not going to have a one-to-one fitment. The restorers have to account for that deviation. You guys won't see that unless you pretty much try to do a hand fitment, try to fit it in, but there's a lot of shaving that has to happen. There has to be a lot of fitment fixing that has to happen in order to make it work, especially when the pairs are older than 2000. So I just want to let you know that right now. And it also depends on what year your midsole donor is from. There's people coming in telling me that, my midsole donor is from 2010, and the pair I'm trying to get it, midsole swap is from 1990. You have to understand that's almost a decade of difference from molds. So there will be times where those donors are not going to fit, and it would take much more time to do that fitment fix. Just like to let you know that this is one of my most favorite projects ever. I've never had a chance to own a pair of 1988 True Blues. The really pair that I really wanted to get was the Fire Red 1988 colorway, but seeing the True Blues was like, seeing something and go like, wow, that's just, can't believe that to this day that I was able to get me and land me a pair. I'm truly blessed to have one. Shout out to JD, homie that got me this pair. Truly appreciate that smooth transition of business every day. It's just amazing that I was able to get a pair of this, so shout out to him. Again, I appreciate the support. Thank you for being there for us since day one, those who has been following us, and those who are new. I appreciate all the input you guys give. It keeps me going with all these projects, as well as the team. I do have new projects coming in, so just stay tuned for that. Please like, subscribe, and follow. Thank you again.